Brownsville Area School District Board of Directors will meet for a planning session on Monday, June 16, 2025 at 6 o'clock p.m. in the auditorium at Brownsville Area High School, 1 Falcon Drive, Brownsville, PA, for general purposes. At this time, let's move into public remarks on agenda and non-agenda items. Jody, do we have any speakers? Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay, Ms. Gibble, and I think we have the clock so everyone can see. Thank you. Oh, as soon as you... Yeah, it's there we go.
Okay, good evening, members of the board. I'm here because I have a couple of concerns. As all of you know, I already sent in a formal complaint. Now, with that being a concern, I also sent in a FERPA request and a PA right-to-get request for my Title IX coordination meeting, along with all of my child's information that I'm allowed to request. Here's the problem. Jeremy Davis had no involvement since all of this BS has started. So to CC him in after a formal complaint sent in on June 2nd doesn't look good on the district, by the way, and that's a conflict of interest. So he is no longer allowed to be overseeing any of the FERPA requests. That's a concern. And that's an overreach, to be quite honest. And I'm quite tired of the overreach, to be honest, from the district itself. I have been advocating for 4 years. This year you all made it personal when you had CYS come into this building, question my child. Look at my daughter's FERPA request information. There is no disciplinary issues, no issues with the guidance counselors, no issues with any involvement with fraud, nothing. So we still are back to square one. Where did the school see fit to call CYS and state that my children were in bodily harm? After, I also went back through school board videos May 18th. This also happened to Bonnie Liston's grandson. CYS was called after she was advocating on serious issues. Now this looks like a tailored issue to where we use CYS as a tactic. We don't give parents the answers. Dr. Martin and I, you spoke on the phone and you stated that it was a legal threat because of the way I requested that. I talked to the United States Department of Education. They stated that that was a false claim and you guys should educate yourselves. Just so you're aware, we have to do my due diligence, man. So before you try to come for me, make sure you do your homework as well, because you all know that you're still not in compliance with the email that I sent. For my request, for my daughter's information on the Title IX meeting that I am allowed to have, that's a cause for concern. Not to mention the fact that I have been personally openly locked. So that's another cause for concern. So now we are to the point where I'm going to start reaching to outside agencies, outside of Fayette County, outside of the state of Pennsylvania, to start looking into our district. I told you, I've asked you all to work with me. I have been trying to be a compliant parent. Now it has been nothing but a mockery on my behalf. Teachers don't even talk to me, and I notice the different conversations now. I've paid close attention, and I've had everything documented up until this point. That was the problem you underestimated me. I came here out of good faith to work with you, and then you treated me like I was the hostile one. When none of you were in compliance with the federal government, the nepotism, the quick hires, the certifications not being done right, the contract issues. Let me keep speaking. Like, I got so many grounds. The DA's office not letting me file a Sunshine Law Act, the bad's on recording. Like, this doesn't look good for any of you. This is a nightmare that you brought upon yourself. I have been trying to advocate willingly and diligently for our community. We have kids who are desperate. It takes a village to raise these children. A village. You have my child 8 hours a day technically between bus rides and everything else. And you're telling me to trust you when all I've gotten was nothing but met with CYS being called on me. I've had CYS 3, 4 times. Then he went personally after my daughters. Then he tried to come at me about mandated reporting. I went and did what you asked me to do, still reported the case. Do you know what I was told to do by an attorney? Call the state police next time I have an issue like I did in the elementary school, where I have a secondary screaming, fuck you in my daughter's face. I'm not trying to be rude, but this is one of the issues that we face. Now, I know you can shake your head, but this is what my second grade daughter deals with.
It's the language that we use. It's the
Do
language.
not tolerate the language. Mrs. Gibble, it's the language that you use. We have children in the audience. Mrs. Gibble, you are out of order. Mrs. Gibble, that's enough. Please escort her out of here. You have no right to speak like that. You use other language. You're an adult.
And I've been questioning it.
That's ridiculous.
Thank you, Mr.
Mrs.
Hamilton.
Gibble, thank you.
Children in this auditorium.
And I want to make a comment.
Go on.
That is unacceptable from anybody in
Absolutely.
this public.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
This is what comes out of our children's mouths.
Unacceptable, Mrs. Gibble. Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. I move that she be banned from this.
We will look into that, Mr. Bashir. We will look into
Children, you care about children? There's little ones right here. If you want to use that language, get out of here. Goodbye. Act like an adult. Not that was some junkyard.
I am so sorry. I apologize, first of all, to everyone in the audience. And I'm very upset that you had to witness that.
I am too.
Very, and
I apologize for
I-
my outburst, Mr. President, but I'm not going to sit here and tolerate and get berated by somebody who doesn't know a thing about what they're talking about. It's been 6 years. You think we did anything wrong? We'd still be all sitting up here? The state doesn't think so. Enough's enough. We meet twice a month, Mr. President, twice a month to resolve issues, and that's it. And everybody up there has issues we have to deal with. Everybody else cares about this district. These people out here, the teachers care about this district. We're not going to be berated like that. And young children in this audience, listen to that. Not acceptable, Mr. President. It's just not.
totally agree.
I do too. I agree.
And I think we need to look into further action.
I agree, and I make that motion.
We have another person sign up. It is Jim Baker. And he did not call in, said he does get it.
A lot of you guys know me. I come to be a janitor here as a substitute. I offered the full-time position. I was told I was going to be on the agenda last meeting. My name was never mentioned. I was wondering why. Jerry Yakovet and Willie Smith, the one that did my interview, they said, "What is your thing to be here? What's your retirement here?" I said, "I'm going to retire from the school. It's working." I love Brownsville Area School District. I coach. I do everything I can for this school. Like I said, I'd just like to know why I wasn't on the agenda last time.
Mr. Van Diver, questions like that can be addressed to the superintendent. We're not at liberty to discuss those matters publicly.
I asked a couple times, like I went to the office and asked why my name wasn't on it. Never was told why.
I'll work with Dr. Martin
Okay, thank you.
to get you some information. Thank you. Okay. All right, moving on. Superintendent's remarks.
Just a few building and grounds remarks. Right now, the gym floor is underway. Things are running smooth. I appreciate everyone for working with us as we had to move some events and make sure that we had a nice space for everyone to be able to work so that we can get this done in an expedited fashion for our children to start the school year. The asphalt will be happening mid-July, so the 16th, 17th, 18th, it's slated for the asphalt to happen. Right now, the Halo vape detectors are going up in our district, so we will have vape detectors in all 3 buildings moving forward, and then the access system is underway. So we will have a badging system for our teachers and staff members to badge in and out next year. So all of those things are happening and everything's moving according to plan.
Dr. Martin, with the badge system, will that then record the time that person checks into the building?
It does not. I asked the same question. It does not, but that is something that can be added in addition, correct, Brian? Mm-hmm.
Okay, because you still hear rumors of certain people coming in late a lot. And I thought that was supposed to be taken care of in the office of the secretaries or whoever's in there. But if that is true, I'm not saying it's true, I'm saying if that is true, somebody's dropping the ball. Or letting people slide.
And I think the badging system, time stamping is a perfect fix for that.
Right?
Anything else? Okay. In your packet, you will see the agenda and related materials that will be asked to be incorporated into the minutes. Any questions on that? And then also, there'll be a motion to approve the May 15th, 2025 board minutes. Board treasurer, Ms. Columbia.
Yeah, we'll also, we'll be discussing approval of the June, general fund, capital fund, Title I and Title IIA, 2D, cafeteria fund, and treasurer financial reports.
Then you could see there, number 7 would be discussing the following funds, A through J. Okay. Mr. Dorsey had asked me to go through the Education Committee. So the first item will be discuss approving the renewal with Acadians for the following in the amount of $11,548.55 paid for from the 2025-26 title funds. And there's some additional information there. Questions or comments on that? Okay, hearing none, moving to item B, we discuss approving the quote from Wunderkin program and customized school license for 1 year in the amount of $7,900. And again, that's paid for out of the 2025-26 title funds.
These are our STEAM kits. Yeah.
Questions on that? Okay. Next, item C, discuss approving the purchase of the WonderWorks Reading Special Education Intervention Program for grades K through 5 for a 3-year contract in the amount of $35,375.56, again, out of the 25-26 title funds.
This will be our Tier 3 pull-out intervention, and it will also be utilized in our special education classes.
Okay, moving on, item D, discuss approving the program of studies for all buildings. That is attached. Questions on that? It's on this agenda, item E, to discuss approving student handbooks for all buildings, but I believe we need a little more time to review those. Mr. Dorsey, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
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 So I think that will probably be removed from the agenda. Mr. Dorsey, again, are you okay with that?
No, I'm fine with that. Yeah. And I don't want to put something out until we're completely ready.
Right.
And everything's, everything's where it's supposed to be.
And I think, again, we won't have a meeting in July, but August, that should be enough time to review and then vote on the handbooks. Okay. Item F, discuss the updates for co-teaching. We have a,
We do.
Ms. Palo.
Can I switch these around and do G first?
Absolutely, G is the special education plan.
For letter G, the special education plan for 2025 to 2028, I completed that and I submitted it to the Pennsylvania Department of Education and the Bureau of Special Education. And it was reviewed by our advisor, and then I worked with her on the revisions that needed to be made, and then it was resubmitted this past Friday, the 6th on, the 13th, on, to the division chief. So once that is approved, then we will get it back, and then I'll have a copy, and then I can give all of the board members and everyone a copy. And then you can study it over July, and there'll be a test in August. Just kidding. But so for letter F, the updates for co-teaching. So one of the corrective actions that was in the special ed plan was our LRE, which stands for the least restrictive environment. That's the special education students and their percentage that they spend in the regular education curriculum. So our numbers are too low. We need to have the students integrated more into the regular education curriculum. They're spending a little bit too much time in the special education curriculum, and they need to be included more. So I had worked with Dr. Martin and Mrs. Stout, and we came up with a co-teaching proposal. We discussed it previously. Your proposal was in your board packets, and we just did one class, a high school ELA class, with a regular education teacher and a special education teacher, and we picked the top tier students moving from 8th grade into 9th grade in that class to participate in the pilot program. So that will begin for the 2025-2026 school year. So also, Dr. Costable and I got approval from our PDE BSE advisor a couple days ago. So we're going to work over the summer to try to implement this in the elementary school as well, and try, one class, and then go from there to get our students integrated more into the regular education curriculum.
I think if the board is in favor of doing this, starting out with one class is the way to go. When I look through the information we're getting, we need to hire several special education teachers as is. Now, once this happens, if it passes and we do the team teaching, is that going to cause us to have a need for even more special education teachers?
Possibly. Right now, as it stands, how we were making the pilot, no. In the future, depending on what our needs would be on the students, it could be possible.
Because I know what we went through last year, trying to fill special education positions, and what we're going to go through this year to get everything filled. Hopefully, if we do this, we're going to do it the right way and have special education teachers in these positions and not throw in long-term subs or something like that.
Absolutely.
Do it right, we need certified people.
Yes, yes. If you know anybody, ask them to apply.
I know.
We do have interviews scheduled for tomorrow and Wednesday, so hopefully we can get some of those positions.
When
Um,
you interview,
What time?
I know, when you do these interviews.
Yes.
Ask some of these people what possesses them to use crazy font on a resume. I looked at some of the font and I just thought I would never do something.
I guess they want to stand out. Just taking a guess.
Okay. In a good way.
Does anybody have any questions as far as the proposal for the pilot or the special education plan?
I'm just happy to see that we're, try this pilot program, right? And try something different, something new. I know other districts do co-teaching, so the concept isn't new, but I think here it is, so I'm excited to see that.
Yes, we will take the top tier students that can fit into those courses and would be able to thrive there. And so that's when Mr. Dorsey asked about possibly hiring more staff. It could be because students that aren't able to be in the regular education curriculum, that couldn't be integrated, they might have to stay in like a self-contained learning support class. So it's going to depend on the students' needs and their functioning. So right now, since we're in the like trial phase, we won't know until after we try it out for a while and see how it's going to all play out. So it's going to be trial and error for a little while. But this was one of the corrective actions in the audit. So we have a little improvement plan for just that. So this is going to satisfy that improvement plan for that section. There was only a couple things, and that was one of them. So.
What were the others?
Oh, of course you were going to ask me
I'm
that, and I don't have it in
sorry.
front of me.
That's okay. Save it for Wednesday.
LRE was one of them, and I forget what the other one was.
Okay. We'll talk about it Wednesday.
When the co-teaching was first brought up, I was one of the board members that really wasn't too keen on that. At this point, looking at our numbers, having 33% of our students with an IEP, it's worth a shot. I mean, we have to start, I think Mr. President over there even said it, we have to start looking outside the box, some other things to try. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But, at least we're gonna give it a shot.
Right. When I first was hired at Brownsville, I was hired as a learning support teacher, and we were participating in co-teaching at that time. And it was kind of didn't work out very well because the way it was scheduled was I was like Monday, Wednesday, Friday with an ELA teacher, Tuesday, Thursday with the math teacher, and then the next week it would flip. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, math teacher, Tuesday, Thursday, ELA teacher. So there wasn't a lot of consistency, and it didn't work out well, I don't think, for anyone. The kids or the teachers, it just seemed like it was too confusing and didn't really make any progress for anybody. So I'm hoping that with this new pilot, there'll be consistency and it'll be on the right track, and then we won't be in that pattern. And hopefully it will be a successful program and for the kids, and then the kids will enjoy it and be proud and be excited, along with the staff.
Yeah, thank you very much for the update. Any other questions for Ms. Palo?
Just that one I couldn't answer.
Well, that's homework. That's homework for Wednesday. All right, thank you, Ms. Palo.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'd like to bring up one statement about the bills.
Yeah.
Just a comment.
Sure.
Looking at all the bills, and I'll just repeat them. California Academy of Learning, 34,000. Chestnut Ridge, 12,000. Commonwealth Charter Academy, 61,000. The Escort Company, 1,700. 14,000 to 6,000 to PA Distance Learning, 11,000 to PA Leadership Charter School, 7,000 to PA Virtual Charter School, 2,000 to Penwood Cyber Charter School, which totals to about $182,000. That, just want to bring that up, that, I don't support that. We have qualified teachers here that can do these jobs, but we're spending $182,000 a month. So, I never was for that, so no one will convince me to be for it now. We have teachers that can do this job. If people want to take their children out, they can certainly do that. Thank you, Mr. President.
No, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. I'm sorry. I think we are on letter H, the literacy plan work. Mrs. Little. And company.
All right, I was told I should be 10 minutes, so I'm really going to try, Dr. Malik. And I'm really second guessing my font up here now. All right, so I know I've been here a couple times talking. This is the culmination, I feel like, of what we've done this year, and I just want to go over this with you. So you can go ahead to the next slide. All right, these are our writers. I'm not going to read everyone. I do want to thank Kelly for being here tonight and Becky taking time out of their summer to come support us tonight. All right, so our composition was literacy specialists, admin, teachers, board members, all working together to put this plan into action and get a framework together for our literacy. So the mission of the Brownsville Area Elementary, and this now will say school district, but initially we started out just elementary. School Leadership Action Plan is to develop and implement comprehensive literacy instruction and support programs focused on grades K to 8 now, ultimately leading to improved student outcomes. We're dedicated to fostering a student-centered learning environment where every child is empowered to become a proficient and enthusiastic reader. Our Literacy Action Plan is a living document designed to increase student literacy outcomes over a 5-year frame and is subject to revision to alignment with the objectives of this document, state mandates, and emerging research on best practices. I'm not going to read all that. Go ahead, Becky. You can hit the next one. So our commitments through this literacy plan are to give all stakeholders access to the research on structured literacy. So part of that will be putting that on the website. For the teachers who are really in the trenches and going through this the most, to receive ongoing support and training to implement everything that we're asking of them, and to have a student benefit and have the students benefit from high quality, evidence-based instruction that meets their needs. So the core principles for this are, again, that this is a living document, knowing that things will need to change as we go. We want to make sure that we're having clear communication with all stakeholders. So I'm planning to come, I'm thinking like quarterly, to kind of update you guys on what's going on. We want to achieve 80-20, which I know I talked about last time. That's where we want 80% of our kids meeting benchmarks. You have the literacy plan in front of you, and all the numbers are there. We're clearly not there yet, but that's our goal. And to be constantly reflective, planning, doing, checking, and then acting to change what needs changed. The core principles, again, are to identify misalignments with instruction, which a lot of what you're voting on this week has to do with that. We've really gone through all of our curriculum to make sure what we have meets our needs. To put that research out to stakeholders, which will be something that comes down this year. To acknowledge that all teachers are teachers of literacy, not just if you're ELA. We want this to go cross-curricular to really get our kids benefiting from reading, writing, speaking every day in every class. And we also believe something that I think hasn't been happening until these last 2 years is to catch students before they fail, so that they're not getting to those upper grades and we see that there's such a problem. And a lot of what we're implementing is going to do that. We're developing common assessments, which the teams have met with this year to start that, and we have a good plan going forward. We want to make sure that we're rolling out with support so the teachers aren't just thrown into this without the proper training. So phase 1, I guess this is where I'm going to kind of brag on the elementary teachers and what all was accomplished this year. We've established a literacy action team. We did a comprehensive literacy needs assessment that the elementary filled out. We began to develop proficiency models of what our students should look like when they leave each grade. We've planned a lot of professional development. I think any teacher would agree with that. We've set goals, cataloged the existing materials, defined goals and beliefs, and analyzed the literacy achievement levels for the past 3 years. We've developed grade level data meeting protocols with lead teachers leading those meetings. We've continued implementation of the MTSS framework, enhanced phonics and word work instruction, implemented targeted interventions for grades 3 to 5, which as long as I have been teaching here, we have not had. We've trained teachers in the upper grades for TDA rollout, vocabulary instruction and assessment. We've added the literacy itinerant support, the literacy coach, revised our writing instruction for grades 3 to 5, and had a soft rollout of something called summary writing. And this is where we look forward to the future. So our goals for phase 2 will be to continue the MTSS and push that into the middle school. Not to get too much into that, but that's really just a framework around which we plan all of our instruction. And that would also coincide with what Ms. Palo was saying with those students, just to make sure that everyone's getting what they need. This summer, the MTSS team is participating in a book study hosted by the Reading League, and we're going to carry that into the middle school. We did some strategic scheduling this year, especially at the elementary, to make sure that we had the bigger literacy blocks, our intervention periods, collaborative planning and data meeting time, and ongoing professional development built into our day. We've optimized staffing. I know that you guys just voted on that interventionist, and I'm so excited about that. That's something we've needed for a while. We're looking into the cross-disciplinary collaboration between literacy and all other contents, and just continuing to develop the integration of professional development, which will now continue starting with the 6th grade teachers in the middle school. We have the high-quality instructional materials. We've realigned all of that, a lot of new things that align with the science. Over the next year, 7 through 12 will rewrite their ELA curriculum with the IU. I met with team leads last week to update our curriculum K to 5. We're, I would say, about halfway done with that. We've had new intervention resources, assessment tools, and the Acadians that you guys are voting on tonight will now benchmark the middle school as well. We are looking to create more teachers and staff who are aware of the data so that they themselves can use it instead of just having it handed to them. We want them to be responsible for that. With that is the professional learning, the balanced assessment systems, and strengthening our leadership with those lead teachers through MTSS and continued improvement. Okay, I'm not going to go through all this, but this is also what we've been doing, the curriculum realignment, reviewing those materials from the literacy plan to make those decisions. We have that proactive professional development plan, so we already know for next year what needs done. We are conducting literacy needs higher up, so middle school and high school, having that stakeholder engagement, and reviewing the common assessments. And we did come together in teams this year and get a common writing assessment and rubric to go K to 5. We added the reading specialist and literacy interventionist. I want to thank you guys for approving that position. We're having our TDA rollout. We had the training this year, so next year we'll be in full implementation, continuing the vocabulary instruction and assessment and summary writing. Developing those models, updating our levels as we go along, having that professional development plan, and beginning to train our content teachers to write, read, and speak every day in every class. Again, with the schedule, we have prioritized those blocks, the planning time, and the professional development time. The music position, I know sometimes like you guys are voting on this and it just seems like maybe it's a music position, but that opened up so much in our schedule as far as allowing for those other things that we needed. So even though that's an art position, it really helps with the literacy as well because it opens up everything we needed in the schedule for that. Okay, I think I maybe met my 10 minutes. Do I have any questions?
Good job.
Thank
Very,
you.
very well
Thank
done.
you.
I want to thank the teachers and Dr. Constable and Mrs. Llewellyn as well for everything this year. Thank you.
Yeah, great work.
Yeah, the comment I'd like to make is, I really appreciate what you're bringing to the board and what other people in this meeting have brought to the board, because I can think back for quite a few years and through other special education directors, we didn't get information like that. You guys are really trying to give us information and so we can work together. This is the first I'm seeing this.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. That's why we want that stakeholder piece in there so that not only you guys, but the parents and the taxpayers know what's going on.
I concur with Mr. Dorsey, to commend all of you because we only meet twice a month, and we rely on you the other 30 days to figure things out. You guys are doing a good job.
Yeah, I've heard more from Mr. Baylor, than I did from multiple people who were in her position prior. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I totally agree with all of that, and I have the pleasure of serving on this committee, and just phenomenal work that they're doing. And really, I think the goal is that we have a comprehensive plan for the entire district. I know we're rolling this out in the elementary school, but you know, our plan, of course, is to go into the middle school and even the high school. And I think we have the talent and the resources here to do that. So I'm really excited for that. And I really look forward to the quarterly reports. We'll see, maybe. But no, I think it's really good. So thank you so much. Okay. Mr. Dorsey, I believe that concludes your education committee report. Anything you'd like to add?
No, I'd like to thank you for reading that, because I, do the medical procedure today, I can't see the
Right.
Looking at that, I could read the big stuff, but when you got down to the little stuff, couldn't see it. When they used to say, stick a needle in my eye, well, that's what I got, both eyes today.
Well, I will gladly read your report anytime. Thank you. Mr. Gates, personnel. And some of these items, again, are going to be discussed in executive session, so.
All right, A, discuss accept the letter of resignation from Michaela Stickle, part paraeducator, effective June 4th, 2025. Discuss the termination of employee A, paraeducator, effective June 2nd, 2025. Discuss a request from Arthur Scott Ruby for an extension and renewal of an unpaid leave of absence for the 25-26 school year. Discuss adding the following names to the support staff: Jolene Corzo. And E would be a executive session. F, well, how about from E to I, probably, executive session?
I believe so.
One comment I'd like
Sure.
to make about F. Hopefully, the job description for this position will be written in a way that most of our administrators will be able to apply.
All right, I'm finished.
Okay, thank you. All right. Ms. Columbia, Finance.
Item A, discuss approving the final budget for the 2025-2026 fiscal year with revenues set at $35,749,133 and expenditures set at $35,749,133. Village rates, Fayette County, 19.43, Washington County, 13.27. That would be a decrease of 0.15 in the county in which Director Dorsey resides. That was coming. I wanted to steal his thunder.
He should make that motion.
Just remember to read that again next year.
Item B, discuss approving the homestead farmstead exclusion resolution for the 2025-26 school year. Item C, discuss approving the resolution to advocate for significant additions to school funding. Item D is discuss approving the 2 disabled veterans real property tax exemption certifications. Item E, discuss approving the notification of the following repository tax sales from the Fayette County Tax Claim Bureau and authorize the president of the board to sign the consent of sale on behalf of the district. The parcel ID is listed there along with the address that's told me that was, I know a lot of people were requesting that, so thank you very much for that. Item F, discuss the audit information. And item G, discuss bills for payment for the month of July.
So I just want to speak about the audit information.
back in, I believe, October, we approved, our audit company to do the audit, and Mr. Dorsey asked for me to, go out and get quotes for the following years. I did reach out to Cipher and Cipher and Hozak and Spike, and Cipher and Cipher, I emailed and called twice, never got any response from them. And then Hozak, I did reach out, call, and email. I did get a hold of somebody, and there's a little packet in front of you, that shows the email correspondence I had with him. I sent him the information and I did not receive anything. I did this, I believe, back in beginning of, or sometime in May, I believe. So I gave him well over, enough time to give me a quote at least, and nobody did quote. So I'm gonna have the 3-year extension for Axel Rod to be on the agenda.
That's your recommendation?
Yeah, they, and I will say, working with Brian, who spoke 2 months ago at the meeting, he helps out even when, like, it wouldn't involve him. We could call him and he does help out. So I do believe he helped Shelley in between the time when Michael had left and I was not hired yet, so.
Thanks, Colby.
Yep.
Colby, I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievably, we're already to the middle of June, almost done with the fiscal year. What are you projecting our ending fund balance to be?
I believe when I looked, I didn't look this month, but last month it looked like we should be about 800,000 extra. So we would bump that number up. I don't have that total number in my head right now, but
Can you try to get a
yeah.
idea?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe for Thursday?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll send down an email tomorrow.
I try to figure things out when I go through some of the financial statements in there, but there's such a flow. It's kind of hard to keep up with everything and try to catch exactly what we may have or may not have. And that's the reason why I'm asking.
Any other questions under finance? Okay, moving to buildings and grounds. Mr. Gammon is unable to attend tonight, so I'll go over that.
Sitting on a beach somewhere.
Item A, discuss Colonial School. I'm going to look to Dr. Martin.
A few of us had had some conversations about Colonial School being up for sale. I wanted to propose that perhaps we could take a tour of Colonial. Whoever could possibly be in attendance, I'll set it up with Dr. Don Martin to take a look at what we could maybe do with that building. I thought about something perhaps countywide where we could appeal to the other superintendents in the other districts and see if we could not maybe look into our own cyber charter where we could utilize that with the entire county and have something in place there. So wanted to just brainstorm some ideas and wanted the board to be thinking about it moving forward after this tour and see if we couldn't sit down and have a meeting with the county soups.
Dr. Martin,
Yeah,
is there a purchase price that maybe you're asking? Or just
Dr.
where-
Martin didn't have one yet. Mr. Brashear, he said that the price will be right, is what he said, whatever that means. So I thought if we could sit down with him, they will, I'm sure, do something formal, have a formal proposal that I could then bring to the board, and we could just see if that is an option. And I think if it's a county option, it really helps us pull resources. It makes better sense as a county.
Well, since we had our discussion, Dr. Martin, about the Colonial building, something we have to take into consideration now is the Penn State campus.
Mm-hmm.
Anything we plan on doing at this, we don't want it to be within 1 year be totally wiped out by something that's being done at Penn State.
Right.
So that's something we're gonna have to keep in mind also.
Okay.
Mr. Dorsey, are there discussions about the Penn State Fayette campus? Like future plans? I mean, I know it's so early.
There's been discussions, nothing really public yet.
Yeah, because I agree with you there.
very easily go in if they had enough support from some of the schools, make that one countywide school. There was, just a few years ago, there was a push by one of the representatives to push for a countywide school.
Right.
So that is a little bit of chirping behind the scenes.
I was hearing a little bit of chatter about WVU potentially having a campus there. Mm-hmm.
Okay. The only thing I had when you go county schools is, well, you know, you would be county school, but we would lose our local identity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you lose that. Is that worth it? Not to me.
And then you have to eat other districts now.
Yeah.
A lot of people shouldn't pay for that.
That's why it didn't work the last time.
Okay, anything else on that? Item B, discuss the asphalt and sealing of the parking lot.
Jerry's in the audience. The asphalt dates are set. One of the things that we discussed with Mr. Gammon is about potentially sealing the front drive of the parking lot as well as the student lot, and then some striping. However, the speed bumps have to go in whenever the asphalt is put down. So looking into sealing would be after the speed bumps are put in, and then potentially sealing with our own people, maybe not a company, but purchasing the materials, purchasing the sealer, and then allowing our people to put that sealer down.
Anything on that? And item C, discuss approving the quote from Wenger Corporation for four-step Tourmaster risers with back and side rails and carts in the amount of $22,039.58 paid with Ready to Learn grant. Anything else on,
And Jerry could speak up as well. The risers have been a need for, they've been a long time coming.
Thank you. Any other comments on buildings and grounds? Okay. Mr. Clark, athletics.
I'm read A, discuss accepting letter of resignation from Stuart Rubuck, an assistant varsity football coach for the 25-26 school year. B, we're going to discuss hiring the following coaches for the 25-26 school year. I'm not going to read through all those, but if you have any discussions, it's going to have a good discussion.
Right.
We can talk about that.
Yep. So any comments or questions now?
Question, Mr. President.
Yes.
Everyone that we hire under strict rules turn in guidelines and rules. Or do some sponsors or coaches or athletics waiver, they don't have to turn in the rules and regulations? I would have to ask the athletic director.
All,
Mr. Barrett?
if we're talking about the athletic handbook, all coaches, whether they're volunteer assistant or head coach, sign off on the athletic handbook. They have the right to follow, have their student athletes follow the rules set forth in the district approved athletic handbook. If they make their own set of guidelines, which I have for varsity track, it has to be approved through the district building principal and myself. So we've done that. I have my own set.
Do the cheerleaders fall under that?
Cheerleaders follow their athletics.
But they do, but they fall under the rules and regulations of turning in their guidelines and their.
Yes.
Okay, and you have that?
I should
But everybody falls under the same umbrella, coaches, sponsors.
Yeah, anybody under the athletic, cheerleaders, head coaches of any sport. It doesn't include, clubs and activities like the band or anything
Right.
like that. But cheerleading falls under athletics.
Any other questions for?
And we are, I guess, Terry, everybody's, all these coaches have clearances.
Yeah, all the coach, clearances and, let me see, it might be
Just a question that I've wanted to ask for a couple of years.
one on there.
Whenever there's a sport going on, at what time do these coaches allowed to be coming in the building? Like if you have a program that starts at 5 o'clock, are the coaches allowed to come in at 1 o'clock and be walking around the halls? Or, I don't think so, but
No.
I think there's a reasonable amount of time. If your practice starts at 5 o'clock, you probably should be at 4:30, 4 o'clock, but not 1 o'clock. I think. Never used to be that way.
You know, they did it before I knew that. I mean, if they have to do something, they did go over to their office over there.
Yeah, Rick, you should know. You remember how
They
it
look hard for them all.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments for athletics? Okay, hearing none, that concludes the
One more
agenda
question,
items.
Mr.
Yes.
President.
No, go ahead.
Just in all athletics, do we look at numbers if there's, I know years ago, if there wasn't a certain number of athletes, we kind of dropped that sport. Because we were paying more coaches more money than it was having athletes. And I'm looking at some of the, I don't know the numbers, that's what I'm just going off on the end here, I don't know the numbers. But if these numbers are not, I don't want to say in line with the salaries, I don't see how we can support an athletic program that doesn't have the numbers. Because we ended, well, just for example, I can remember when John Armel was a wrestling coach, he ended the season with one. He actually started the season with 2 wrestlers and ended with 1. And by the time we paid the bus and the coach, we were in debt about $10,000. It's just a thought. We told all coaches, you get the numbers up, because if you don't, your sport's going to go down.
Yeah, Mr. Bashir, the only thing I can recall in my time here, for middle school girls softball, one year we only had 9 girls, and Scooter called me and said, you've got to have a 10th girl, or we're not having a season. And we did find a 10th girl. That's from a girls' athletics perspective. That's the only time I experienced that. But he did say you can't go into a season with just 9 girls.
Well, it doesn't rarely happens, Patty, but I'm just saying if we
But
had
no,
a
it's
sport
a-
that
yeah,
only
it's-
has 2 or 3 or 4 athletes, I mean, it's not cost effective for us to do that.
Right.
The only
And
question,
sometimes we let them go to another school to play. It's just a thought.
the only question with that, you wouldn't know the numbers until the actual
Right.
Well, that's
season
true.
starts, so you would have to, you
Yeah.
would have to fire a coach and, or not even.
And you don't-
Kind of, how would you adjust that?
You're
for
very
the
right,
actual
yeah.
season?
You're
Saying,
very
well,
right.
you can't coach now because we only have X amount of kids.
Terry, there's a lot of hidden factors. If we have only 3 or 4 people in one sport, and the custodians have to clean up for that event, I mean, and plus coaching salaries, then I don't know how it's going to work.
Are, Mr. Barrett, are any of our sports down as far as participants?
In terms of, no, I mean, we have growing programs that are new programs, but okay, looking at it, girls softball was able to play JV this year, baseball got some JV games, which just had nothing to fill JV, so their numbers were decent. Boys baseball for the middle school, they were a little bit low at first because we had some kids doing boys baseball and track and field. Track and field at the high school was around 50, middle school, they finished the season with 51. It's our largest program. Football was in the mid-20s last year, around 30. I think he has about 20-some kids in the weight room right now. Cross country last year, boys was a higher number than girls, which was a little bit different than usual. I don't know exactly what he has coming out this year just yet. I think they're starting their conditioning here this week coming.
So girls basketball, we had enough for JV, but the problem we faced was opposing teams didn't. And so we did lose, I think, 2 girls as a result. They didn't play, but we still had plenty of girls.
No, I just feel.
It's hard to fill JV schedules with the
Oh,
numbers
yeah,
down. All high school.
JV
It's-
schedules is something that rotates with other schools. I know Wash High had a heck of a time.
It's becoming a huge
Yeah.
struggle.
Well, you got kids playing now from the freshman year to the senior year.
Right, and
They're
that's,
not even going.
it didn't help, like, when they got rid of ninth grade programs at small school levels, because they were trying to absorb it at the varsity levels to play JV, this is not just our district, but others, that they found out that number still dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah, the overall number still dropped, especially in football.
3A and down is struggling to fill JV teams.
We try to have JV schedules. You know, not enough kids.
It's always the 5A and 6A schools, from the emails I get daily, you know, some of them are trying to find JV games, and they can't find them, they can't find them in 5A, so they're emailing 3A and 2A schools to see if we have, you know, JV game that they can play.
Yeah, anything additional? Athletics? Okay.
Make a motion to go to executive session.
There's been a motion to move into executive session. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Also, and this executive session will be for personnel and legal matters. And I will also entertain a motion to adjourn the planning session. Opposed? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. We stand adjourned. Thank you.